Assalamu alaikum, students. I am again with you after a very long time since I was on COVID-19 duty as a magistrate and could not find a time to interact with you people. So today I have picked up another chapter for class 12th, that is magnetism and magnetic effects of current. Today we are going to discuss the magnetism and magnetic effects of current. So what is magnetism and what are the magnetic effects of current? Before discussing that, let me give you the concept of magnetic field. As you have already learned about magnetic field in class 10th, the space around a ball magnet or a wire carrying current, up to which its effect can be felt or experienced, is called a magnetic field. And you know that this magnetic field is denoted by B, and the SI unit of magnetic field B is Tesla. The magnetic field, like electric field, can be uniform or non-uniform. So let us first discuss what is uniform magnetic field. Magnetic field in a region is said to be uniform if the magnetic field vector B, since magnetic field is a vector, it has the same magnitude and same direction at all points in the region. Suppose the magnetic field is established in a room, and if it has the same direction, say from north to south, and if we choose any point and it has the same magnitude at that point, so then the magnetic field in the room is said to be uniform. Uniform magnetic field in the plane of paper. If you want to represent the magnetic field, if you want to show the magnetic field in on the plane of paper, we represent it by parallel lines which are equidistant from each other. So here you can see from the figure, these lines, you can see they have the same length. The three arrow lines have the same length, which means they have the same magnitude and they have the same direction. So this represents the uniform magnetic field. The length of the lines represents the magnitude of the magnetic field, and direction shows the direction. So the direction is same, the magnitude of the three lines is same. It means that the magnetic field of the magnitude of the magnetic field is same. So magnetic field in the region is uniform. A uniform magnetic field acting perpendicular to a plane of paper. Suppose the if you want to show that the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper of your notebook, how you can represent that? You cannot draw arrows in air, you cannot draw lines in air, so we represent it by dots. You can see it is a dot, which means that the magnetic field is either upwards or downwards. In both the cases, it is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. So in this case, the magnetic field is represented by dots, and all the dots are equidistant from each other. If it is inwards, it is denoted by dots, and if it, you can see if it is outwards, perpendicular to the paper, plane of the paper, but it is directed outwards, means upwards, then it is represented by crosses. You can see it is represented by crosses. All the crosses are equidistant from each other. So what do you see from these, what do you learn from these dots and crosses? Dots means magnetic field is perpendicular to the paper but directed inwards, means downwards, and crosses denote it that the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper but directed upwards. Okay, now what let us discuss non-uniform magnetic field. Magnetic field in a region is said to be non-uniform if the magnetic field vector B varies in magnitude. If the magnitude of the magnetic field is different at different points in the region, or the direction of the magnetic field is different. A non-uniform magnetic field is represented by convergent or divergent lines. See here, the lines are convergent, it means they are converging on point B here, which means that the magnetic field is non-uniform because they have opposite directions or different directions. If the magnitude is same, still the direction is different, so the magnetic field is non-uniform. Now here, if the magnitude of the line is the same or magnitude is different, but the direction is different again, you can see here, the direction of the magnetic field is different, so this is a non-uniform magnetic field. So in non-uniform magnetic field, either direction can be different or magnitude can be different at different points or both can be different. Magnetic field or magnetic field induction, magnetic flux density are same and are represented by B. Some you can see in some books we say magnetic field B. In some books you can see magnetic induction B. In some books you can see magnetic induction field B, or in some case you can see magnetic flux density B. They are the same physical quantities. They are the same thing. So you should not be worried about if it is a magnetic field or a magnetic induction or magnetic field. They are all the same. All are denoted by B. Now let us discuss Oersted's experiment. What Oersted did. When a current flows in a conductor, magnetic field is produced around the conductor. You have already learned about it in class 10th. You know it that when a current flows in a conductor, magnetic field is produced around the conductor. This is called the magnetic effect of current. You know that current has three main effects, that is magnetic effect, heating effect, and chemical effect. So in this chapter we are discussing magnetic effect. So what is magnetic effect of current? When a current flows in a conductor, magnetic field is produced around the conductor. This is called the magnetic effect of current. It was first observed by an Italian jurist, Gian Domenico Romagnusi. His name was Gian Domenico Romagnusi. He observed it in 1802 that a magnetic needle is affected by an electric current flowing in wire. He published his observations in a local newspaper, but it was ignored. Nobody gave attention towards it. They simply ignored it, and so the credit did not go to Gian Domenico Romagnosi. Otherwise, as today we know that the magnetic effect, we say that it was given by Oersted, Hannes Christian Oersted, but actually it was first observed by Gian Domenico Romagnosi, but his observations were ignored. So years, after 18 years of his observation, another physicist, his name was Hans Christian Oersted, which means in 1820, after 18 years, he observed the same thing. He observed that when a wire AB carrying current is held over a magnetic needle NS, such that current flows from end A to end B, the north pole of the magnetic needle gets deflected towards the west, as shown in figure. You can see figure in the below. When a wire AB carry current is held below the magnetic needle NS, such that current flows from A to B again, the south pole of the magnetic needle gets deflected towards the west. These observations indicate that magnetic lines of force below and above the needle are directed in opposite direction. What Oersted did? Observed Oersted's experiment led to discovery that if a current is passed through a conductor, magnetic field is produced around the conductor. If a strong current is passed through the conductor, a strong magnetic field is produced around the conductor, and the Earth's magnetic field can be neglected compared to this field. The quantitative consequences of a steady current flow were established by four French physicists. First, it was Francois Arago, then it was André Marie, and then it was Jean Baptiste Biot and Felix Savart. What they did? First, Francois Arago demonstrated that a wire carrying current behaves like an ordinary magnet and attracts iron filings. He passed a current through the wire, then he brought it close to iron filings, and he observed that this wire carrying current attracts iron filings. So it behaved like an ordinary magnet. Then Anti-Marie Ampere discovered that the wire carrying current exert force of attraction or repulsion on each other as when we bring the north pole of ordinary magnet, north poles of two ordinary magnets close to each other, they repel each other. Similarly, when two wires carrying current are brought close to each other, they can either attract each other, as in case of ordinary magnet. If north pole and south pole are brought close to each other, they attract each other. If north pole is brought close to each other, they repel each other. The two wires do the same thing. If they are brought close to each other, if the current is in the same direction, they repel each other, and if the current is in the opposite direction, they attract each other. If the current in the two wires is in opposite direction, they attract each other. So they attract or repel like an ordinary magnet. Then it was another physicist, his name was Jean Baptiste Biot and Felix Savart. They were two scientists. They independently they independently determined the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field due to a small current. They showed us how much magnetic field is produced in a current carrying conductor. They independently do it, so the credit went to both of them. The credit was given to both of them because they simultaneously and independently. One was at one place, Bayat was at one place, and Sawat was at another place. They did not know each other. So when they published their observations, they found that the magnitude of the magnetic field, uh, which they obtained by different experiments, they were same. So the credit was given to both of them. Then the law was known as Biot-Savart law. Thus, we conclude that when no current flows through a conductor, the electrons move about in the conductor due to their thermal motion, and each electron acts as a source of magnetic field. In the absence of the potential difference, in the absence of the current, when current is not flowing in a conductor, there are the valence electrons free. They are in random motion, but they move in such a way that if the magnetic field produced by each electron is cancelled by the magnetic field produced by another electron. So in the absence of the current, the magnetic effect cancels out. Field, as there is no net flow of charge in any direction. When charges move in one direction, magnetic field is produced. Hence, moving charge is a source of magnetic field. Remember this thing. Though the charges are moving in a conductor, but they are moving randomly, they cancel the magnetic effect of each other. But when they move in the form of a current, they move in the same direction. All the electrons move in the same direction. So their magnetic effect will not cancel, but it will add up. So when a current flows, charge is flowing. So moving charge is the source of magnetic field. Now let us discuss Biot-Savart law. It is also known as Laplace's law or Ampere's theorem. Biot-Savart law is also known as Laplace's law or Ampere's theorem. This law was first experimentally verified by Biot and Savart, as I told you, independently. They were at two different places. They did not know each other, so the credit was given to both of them. So it states that the magnetic field produced due to a conductor of length dl carrying a current I at a point at a distance r from dl is given by dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl psi theta whole divided by r square. Let us consider a small element AB of length dl of the conductor xy. As you can see from the figure, xy is a conductor, is a wire, long wire of infinite length. Then we take a small element AB of length dl. You can see from the figure, AB is a small element of the wire of length dl. Then let R is the position vector of point P, where we have to observe the magnitude of the magnetic field, where we have to see what is the magnitude of the magnetic field at point P. We have to calculate what will be the magnitude of the magnetic field B at point P. So R is the position vector of P from DL, or say from AB. According to Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field induction dB, you can call it magnetic field dB or magnetic field. dB is the magnetic field due to this small element dl. It is not the magnetic field due to the entire wire xy, but due to the wire of length dl. The magnetic field dB is the magnetic field due to length dl. At a point B, due to current element dl is given by at a point P due to current element dl is number one directly proportional to the current. It has been experimentally observed that greater the current, greater will be the magnetic field due to dl. If the current is weak, then this magnetic field can also be weak. So magnetic field dB is directly proportional to the current. Greater the current, greater will be the magnetic field, and vice versa. Similarly, this magnetic field dB, it is directly proportional to dl, that is the length of the wire. Greater the length of the wire, if the current is same but the length of the wire is greater, then the magnetic field around the wire will be greater. Mm, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, or it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, or that is dB is uh, it is actually 1 by r square. dB is inversely proportional to 1 by r square. Inversely proportional to square of the distance. That is, greater the distance of point P from the wire carrying current, then the magnetic field will be smaller. Will be smaller. Remember this thing. Inversely proportional means if the length distance r, that is distance of point P from the wire, is greater, then the magnetic field will be smaller, and vice versa. Again, there is one more point, that is 3. This was the fourth. The 3 is this magnetic field dB is directly proportional to sine of theta. dB is directly proportional to, it is missing here due to unknown reasons, I don't know, but this dB is directly proportional to sine theta. Remember this thing, sine of theta. dB is directly proportional to sine of theta. So when we combine these three equations, sine of theta means angle theta. Theta is the angle between dB, that is dl, and r. Theta is the angle between dl and r. You can see from the figure where it is given. So this the magnitude of magnetic field dB is proportional to, directly proportional to the sine of angle theta. When we combine these three equations, 1, 2, 3, 4, we get dB is directly proportional to I dl sine theta by r square. Or to remove this proportionality, we insert a constant k. So dB is equal to k I dl sine theta by r square. Where k is constant of proportionality, its value depends upon the system of units chosen and medium between point P and current element dl. In SI system, K is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi, where mu naught is absolute permeability of free space. The value of K is 10 raised to power minus 7. Mu naught is equal to 4 pi by K. This implies mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 raised to power minus 7. So it is Tesla per ampere per meter. Tesla per ampere per meter. So equation 5 becomes, when we substitute the values, equation 5 becomes dB is equal to mu naught over 4 by I dl sine theta by r square. This implies dB is equal to mu naught upon, this is in vector form. So you can substitute these values in equation first. Say suppose the value of K, you know, it is 10 raised to minus 7 Tesla. If I is 1 ampere, DL is 1 meter, and theta is 90 degree. Suppose current I is 1 ampere, DL is 1 meter, or say let us not talk of DL. Theta is 90 degree and R is 1 meter. Then dB will be equal to 10 raised power minus 7 Tesla. dB will be equal to 10 raised power minus 7 Tesla. So in vector form, we can write equation 5 as, dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dr sine theta by r square. So in vector form, dB will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta r by r square into r unit vector. In vector form, we can write it. We have to insert the unit vector r with it. So we know the relation between vector, magnitude of vector, and unit vector. So this unit vector r will be equal to vector r divided by r. So this implies dB will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl cross r by r cube. You can calculate it yourself. The resultant field due to all the current elements of a conductor is given by integrating equation 8, and if we integrate dB we will get B. So it will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi integration of I dl cross r by r cube. The direction of B is given by right hand screw rule. The SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. Since K is equal to 10 raised to minus 7, if theta is equal to 90 degree, R is equal to DL is equal to 1 meter, and I is equal to 1 ampere. Then B is equal to 10 raised to minus 7 Tesla. So from this we can give the definition of Tesla. If a small current element DL meter long carrying a current of 1 ampere produces at a distance of 1 meter from it and perpendicular to it a magnetic field of 10 raised to minus 7 Tesla. So tomorrow we will discuss this application of Biot and Savart law. Thank you.